Winners of 5 straight and 11 of their last 13. Two teams on the rise collide tonight at Hemisphere Arena as First Choice presents the Hornets and the Spurs. From Hemisphere Arena, it's the Charlotte Hornets and the San Antonio Spurs. And welcome again to the Target Center in Minneapolis, the site of the NBA All-Star Weekend 1 week ago. And we just, in the last hour or so, got this word from the NBA office. Once again, David Robinson, the NBA Player of the Week. He's done it back-to-back now. They did not have that award last week because of All-Star Weekend, but the last time they awarded it, David won it. So that's 2 straight weeks, the 3rd time this season, the 9th time in the Admiral's career he has been so honored, and deservedly so, of course, as the backbone of this 12-game San Antonio winning streak.
In the middle, 7'1" center for the U.S. Naval Academy, a member of the Dream Team, number 50, David Robinson. Head coach from the
Day one, the Charlotte team has meant trouble to San Antonio. They come in scoring on a club record pace. They are 3rd in the NBA at 111 points per game. They light it up. They like to push it up. They get into a slashing, cutting kind of a half-court passing game when they can't run. And they have 3 of the best young players in the NBA, but they are facing a team that's as hot as they've been all year. The Spurs club going for their 6th consecutive win. Jim Capers, Dan Crawford, and Tommy Nunez are the officials tonight. Those wins notable because they both featured triple doubles by David Robinson. He is averaging against Minnesota this year 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 blocks, 5 assists, and 2 triple doubles.
I think what John Lucas was trying to focus with his team is that
8 minutes and 43 seconds in the first half. The Spurs up by 5. They get David Robinson back in, and he goes right to the jumper, counted over Gaddison. 8 points for the Admiral.
This is a play that the Spurs have been working on in terms of the timing. Sam Mack goes and sets a pick, and they want the ball to Robinson as he's moving a little bit. The ball was a little slow getting there, but David makes it work as he just jumps over the top of Gaddison and nails the jump shot, earns the free throws.
Not much of a foul there, but they call it on Gaddison, and David gets the 3-point play. AJ waiting for Ellis to pop 3, and he never did. It's down low to Carr. 5 on the shot clock. Johnson to Robinson. Look at this. 3-pointer by the Admiral. Whoa! Can you believe it? Is what John Lucas has the Spurs do in practice. At the end of each practice, he has every man shoot 3-pointers as Gill hits. John Lucas will make it fun. He'll have, say, Larry Smith on one end, David Robinson on the other, and they'll shoot 3-pointers against one another at the same time, and then 2 by 2, everybody on the roster in a 3-point shooting game. Kind of a lighthearted way to end a practice. Carr with the little hook, but it also gets David in the habit of getting good mechanics on that 3-point shot, and we saw it pay off. Robinson mismatch. Larry Johnson automatic. This is Morning with a forearm to the neck of Robinson. Got away with it. Johnson's jumper short from the corner. Ellis again hits the glass. He's been doing that very well, and firing in his 21st point of the night is the Admiral. Ellis. Del Negro. 6 first-half points for Binning. Robinson double team, fires it up anyway. As hot as he is, he could be quadruple teamed, and that would be a good shot. He's got 23 points on 9 of 13.
Never got back into that play, and all 5 of the Hornets got back into that play. Followed it in.
Side cleared. David's jumper good again. 72-60. Robinson, same spot, same switch. Larry Johnson on the bench. Robinson. Daniels back to David for the baseline, fall away. Pretty shot. That is just gorgeous.
Boy, and a real big push in the back by Alonzo Mourning, and Robinson turns the officials once again wondering about a call.
Muggsy Bogues out of control. The unhappy history, the way last season ended, started in Charlotte's visit to Hemisphere last season. 46 now. think about 50 with 4:50 to play. Not much of a comparison, is it? He has put Alonso in mourning. Hornets with 7 straight points to cut this to a 14-point game.
You could make that statement about Larry Brown as well.
Shot clock at 5. Robinson steps back and hits again, and there's 48.
Mercer told me before the game, you'll see Alonzo Mourning trying to pay back if he feels like he's getting bested.
And there it is, 50 for number 50. Johnny Newman makes it 113-99. It is a long, continuous standing ovation right now. David Robinson is just about out of gas. He walks down to his low post position, and they're going to feed him again if they can. Shot clock at 5. Robinson cuts in and is fouled with 2 on the shot clock. He'll go to the line and a chance for 52. The Hemisphere Arena record is 53 by George Gervin, January 11th, 1979 against San Diego. Timeout, 2:28 remaining. David Robinson needs the breather, folks. David Robinson at the line for 2. If he makes them, he can tie the Charlotte Hornets' opponent's scoring record. And there's 1. 2 opponents have scored 52 against Charlotte. One was Terry Cummings right here 3 years ago, and the other was Karl Malone. David can join that lofty company, and there it is. Back up by 3. Ryder winning that slam dunk as he had predicted on draft day. The Admiral with 8. Game 8:24 the first. Robinson with 8 of the first 10 to keep the Spurs close. He discounted the Spurs much better at not turning the ball over. Robinson with the roll. 5 of 7 from the field now. To shoot for West. Robinson, rebound number 6 to go with 26 points and 5 block shots. 28 points, beg your pardon. The way that he has been used today has taken away from the way he's been used, which is as a point trying to guard Sleepy Floyd. Robinson spots the single coverage, and Maxey came over to help. I don't think David will stay in much longer. There's 45. His career high is 52. Isaiah, 25 points to lead Minnesota. West and Smith each with 15. Robinson's 3 for 50. There it is. All right. That was a sweet homecoming for Dale. Up fake by Mourning. Robinson with the recovery and a huge block of Mourning, but he lands on his teammate AJ. And the foul is on Johnson.
Well, you know, Robinson's getting the book on Mourning. He gave him a little up fake, but Robinson beats him back to the basket. He's so athletic. Boy, averted an injury coming down on top of 3. Had his feet set that time.
Oh, Robinson blocking Johnson and got it back again against Wingate. Oh, my, the Admiral. Ellis, 2 at the other end.
Outrageous play by David Robinson. And he has a word for Larry Johnson at the other end. They're both smiling.
Hey, we have seen 3 of the all-time blocks by David Robinson in this first quarter. And back up by 9 to match the biggest margin of the first half. Mourning got Robinson to bite and again drives on David, again misses. Knocked all-time leadership. Dale had 812, Adams had 814.
I don't think he's as comfortable with his offense, and I think that contributes to the other plays. You know, he gets a little frustrated.
Hornets can cut it to 10. Bogues. Johnson against Reed. Curry knocked away.
All he had to do is get it up there somehow and Robinson and come away with the offensive board and put back.
29 points for the Admiral. Mourning Just getting the hook over David, who makes him miss. Robinson injured in the first game, missed the second game. Can't block one worse than that. What his emergence as a shooting threat has meant for the rest of the Spurs offense. Much more difficult to sag down on Robinson when you got to worry about the outside shot of Ellis and Del Negro. Offensive foul, Doug West.
Aren't very many really good shot blockers like David Robinson who make decisions like this as West goes by Dale Ellis. Dave holds his ground, takes the charge. It's a hard hit, and the Spur and this, it's just a great decision on the part of David. Most shot blockers would try to block that shot. Post position, came over to help, got it out of his hands.
Brown turned away inside Rodman and Robinson. Quickly up to Ryder. The no-look feed underneath Frank, cross court to Person. And back in the middle, rejected by Robinson. Brown hits the deck. Here's what happened to Mike Brown a minute ago.
Another look at the block. Very few guys can make this play. David, it happens in slow motion, but it was so quick to Brown, and David was able to turn, gather himself, and beat Brown right to the top of the rim.
Number 6 from the foul line. No other Spur with more than 2 points. And the coup de grace, the rejection of big 260-pound Mike Brown. David, the clear-cut Diamond Shamrock Spur of the moment. 18 of their 24. Ryder with 11 of Minnesota's 25. And
no one else was.
Ryder isolated low on Ellis, and Robinson over to Hill. Got off Dale Ellis, 9 to shoot for Minnesota.
That's called good team defense. You got to figure that Isaiah Ryder's not going to pass it. He's going to try to put up some kind of shot, and Robinson comes completely over. He realized
2 straight, 9 of 10. Up 1 here. West cutting in, and Robinson was ready for him that time. 8:48, third quarter. Nobody can breathe in this game. Close as we've seen this year. Frank rejected by Robinson. Number 5 of the day. Doubles against Minnesota. 43 points, 11 boards, 10 assists. Maxey rejection. Ellis ahead. Sleepy Floyd chased by Corey Williams. Score. And it's 97-76. 52. Ryder. Oh, with a head of steam and a foul. That wasn't the East Bay funk dunk. He didn't throw it between his legs. But it got Robinson's attention.
You see also the effort. He realizes that J.R. Ryder can get up, and as Dave came across, you could see him gathering himself to meet him up very
Ellis
high.
were at his normal guard spot. Gill would be the guy to pick him up anyway, and Newman, a lot like Ellis, can swing both guard and forward. Backdoor cut Del Negro, but Mourning caused the night by Mourning. A big one. Robinson.
This team, as well as they are playing, Kendall Gill isn't playing as good as
him as do all the other teams he's played for. He's a great defensive specialist who had no jump shot. He's found one. Three-pointer Ellis. This one goes.
It's a matter of time for number 3. Get off to a bad start. That time Lloyd Daniels had a real challenge defensively for him.
1:20 in the period, and the Spurs owning their biggest lead at 6, 25-19. Robinson double cutter, AJ. Extra pass around Johnson. Reed back up Ellis. Daniels. Ellis for 3. Not bad. Now AJ against Bogues. Robinson the trailer. Low Morning's jump hook. Robinson's 5th rebound. Ahead of the pack, Sam Mack. And Mack with a nice finish. 9 for Kendall Gill. Bogues over to double Robinson. Cross court Johnson up high. Ellis high floater for 3. His 3rd 3 tonight.
So he makes plays defensively that end up with fouls. That was a good example right there, as he thought he had the good shot, and then he jumped over the back of Larry Jones.
Hornets just 42% from the field tonight. The Spurs are 50% and out rebounding Charlotte big, 38-28. Spurs have 9 blocked shots tonight. Robinson could have rolled to the hoop, found the open man. It's Del Negro in the corner. Well, that frenetic pace that Charlotte likes to play, that they played with some success in the first quarter, all All-Star weekend, by the way, February 20th and 21st in Salt Lake City. David once again a shoe-in to lead all Western Conference centers. Daniels. David Robinson unstoppable in his first head-to-head meeting with Alonzo Mourning. You know, he was talking the other night in Detroit about how people come up to him and say, you know, it seems like you've been in the league forever. And he says, no, it doesn't seem like that at all to me. But in this particular matchup, he is definitely the graybeard. And I wonder how much rising to the challenge of one of the young Turks, one of the real up-and-coming centers, Alonzo Mourning, wonder how much that competitive aspect has helped him come up with these big numbers tonight.
I'm sure it has a lot to do with it. I'm sure he was really prepared to go against Mourning tonight. Mourning tonight? I guess that's right.
That ruled expendable and not Gaddison. Gaddison, an expansion type player, an expansion draftee in 1988. Kept the job over their second person.
Then you got a real problem.
Anderson on the feed from the Admiral, and the tip by Dennis Rodman. Season high 13 points for the Demolition Man on Saturday. Robinson guarded by Mike Brown, the longtime Utah Jazz. Anderson picked up by Brown. Floyd on the three-point arc. And right in Robinson's dunk when both Rodman and Robinson were in the neighborhood all year. Dale Ellis back in. Reed, little confusion defensively here for the Timberwolves, and J.R. Reed takes advantage.
You know, I don't know that the middle of the season at the All-Star break is the appropriate time.
Ellis just misses the three. Dale in a three-point shooting slump lately. Reed in big traffic is fouled. Tough shot. And a technical. Double technical, in fact. Robinson waiting for J.R. Reed underneath. Outside. Ellis tries another three. Finally on the board. Technical is on Dale Ellis, so the mystery thickens. Dale apparently saying something.
Incredibly quick hands on the player. Rodman loses the ball with his vision impaired with that mask.
And the last loss was here January 20th, 93-83. This effort showing just how far the Spurs have come. Ellis another three-pointer, his fourth today. Much improved shooter. Robinson holding off Mourning. Straight game. Larry Johnson. Robinson the board, 10-9 Spurs.
Johnson. Alan Bristow obviously trying to get his All-Star off, get him going offensively.
Robinson driving easily past Mourning. First bucket for David. And a three-point lead creating. Muggsy Bogues rebounded by Robinson with 5 seconds. Time for a shot at the Ellis, who had 14 in the first quarter. Down to Robinson. And they're going to call, it looks like, another foul on Mourning. His third. Fifth against the team.
Robinson really taking it to Alonzo Mourning. Of course,
Curry got it back, in and out. David makes sure this time.
Wide in the air. Robinson just moves Alonzo Mourning out.
Post-up opportunity, J.R. Reed. Robinson there to bail him out. Off the glass, David.
As soon as Alonzo Mourning came to help, he works for Muggsy Bogues. He's so strong. It's hard to bump him out of there.
Robinson against Gaddison. David lost control of the dribble, ended up right back in his hands. Wow, a look what I found basket. The Admiral with 33 points. Gaddison ruled to be virtually an untouchable by Hornet management. Several trade offers to get him out of there. They said amazing story. Del Negro's runner boarded by David. 35 points and another foul. Gaddison's fourth.
Made possible by Vinny Del Negro. It's a good weak side rebound. Both Daniels and Mack and Ellis have all come up with a rebound there on the weak side.
12-8 offensive board edge for San Antonio. Through a sea of arms, another two. Robinson, a hard-working lay-in.
David steps right in front of Gaddison in the middle of the lane. Gaddison's pretty much given it up at that point. Looked like the foul should have been on Larry.
Down to Gill. Kind of a mystery where Kendall, his third rebound of the day. Anderson underneath Robinson with the soft lay-in.
That's 6 points in a row for David Robinson, all off Willie Anderson plays. And Willie
Maxey way off on the lay-in. The Admiral chases it down. The Spurs can get the last shot. And at the end of the first quarter, Minnesota behind 11 points from Isaiah Ryder on top of San Antonio, 25-23. Anderson waiting for him to cross over. Got it still by Mike Brown. Throws up and down the sweeping hook. He's already got 20 points. Anderson with an alert rebound. And ahead to Robinson. Really one of the few times the Spurs have been able to run with any success today.
It's just amazing that Robinson runs by all the Timberwolves, and Robinson just blows by everybody.
Do all the scoring. Which backs up the point we're making about whatever you ask a center to do. And it can be a different thing game by game. Today it's scoring. Today it was passing and defense, and now that's 30 counting.
Well, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves have some pretty good defensive players.
Numbers have been dropping significantly. They dropped by about 9 minutes per game since December, getting only 11 minutes per game in February. A little touchy because Sidney Lowe and Thurl Bailey were teammates on the North Carolina State 83 champs. Robinson will go for another three-point play. The rolling hook shot this time, 32 points.
Brown has had some success moving his feet and keeping in front of David Robinson. This time he tries for the steal, gives him a little bit of an opening, and David much too quick back into the middle for the rolling hook. But you see Brown moved over just a little bit trying to tap the ball, and that gave David just a little bit of a crease into the middle.
Brown out, Longley back in. And 33 and counting for the Admiral. Punching, missing, Robinson crashing the boards, hitting, and he's fouled. A Hall of Fame streak for the Admiral, and it continues today. 35 points with 3:22 to play in the third period.
Dale Ellis went by 3 Timberwolves all the way to the basket, a little too hard with the left hand, and Robinson just beats Luke Longley to the board and comes up and invents a little shot, just lifts it up over the top of Longley. He's just desperate to try to figure out some way to stay with Robinson.
That one called on Smith, his second. Longley back out, and it's Marlon Maxey's turn to try and deal with David. Well, good luck. 36 and counting. 20-3 San Antonio. Now 10-2 in this building.
Those kinds of things when you're winning, these things he is a big factor on the team. He does so many different things. I mean, you can say the same thing about Dennis Rodman, who doesn't interact with any of the players at all. But I don't think it's a big factor in terms of being able to get along and play basketball between the lines.
That's out of bounds. Robinson's feet just over the end line.
David Robinson trying to get by Luke Longley one more time. He's got his hand on his shoulder. No call there as Luke Longley is, I mean, his main goal today is to try to stay in the game.
Morning back in with 4 fouls to replace a totally ineffectual Kenny Gaddison and Imasters. Coyote with football on his mind. He's worried about the condition of the field at Candlestick Park tomorrow.
Well, a lot of people are, Dave.
Larry Johnson in the matchup with Antoine Carr. Del Negro picked up by Johnny Newman. And to the baseline, Robinson fouled by Mourning.
A lot different, Dave. It said in the press guide that it's a broken bone under his thumbnail. It's been an
lineup, but it is heavily wrapped. But he gets the roll, and the Spurs a 2-0 lead. Wins. Up to 500 on the road with their 3-game sweep this past week. He's 23 years old. 9:30 to play. All Spurs looking like a walk-away win for their 6th consecutive. 3 on the shot clock, and that one won't quite crawl down for David, but he earns another trip to the stripe. Bennett picks up his first. And the Admiral will be shooting for points 39 and 40. 5 blocks, 12 rebounds, and his all-around excellence tonight. Here's 39.
Well, David Robinson, along with, I think, the challenge of Alonzo Mourning, was well aware of the fact that Charlotte swept them last year. He also is aware that this was the team in which his thumb was hurt. So he had a whole agenda going, a whole menu of things that got him going tonight.
So Mack to the line with 8-30. What a night for a guy who is headed toward another all-star starting
right there. But John Lucas is down to 15 points. He's got Robinson back in along with Dale Ellis.
Yeah, Admiral thought he was done. AJ's had a long rest, and since David's back in, you can start thinking again about a new career high. He returns with 40 points. And as he fires that one off of Tommy Nunez.
I wonder if that was on his menu. Bounce one off one of these officials.
Well, even that he can check off. The foul is on Bennett. Well, the encouraging thing is how
Dave is very much a rhythm shooter from the free throw line.
Game in and game out. He starts off the game with a real confident shot for his team.
Leader in the last meeting with 23 points. Willie Anderson, who has not so fond memories of his last trip in here. And a foul on Luke Longley. Last time thereafter. Longley, the third-year veteran from New Mexico, putting Robinson on the line, where he's 73% for the year.
Dennis Rodman trying to get away without using the mask protection for his nose. And John Lucas came down the sideline in front of the scoring bench and threw him the mask. I think he'd prefer to not wear it, but it's a bit of a risk.
One more for the Admiral, got them both, and it's 4-2. Robinson hits his first 3 free throws, has 11 of the Spurs' first 15 points. Leitner, who can help sometimes defensively. And now Robinson. Isolation, single coverage for Brown. Takes him right, misses the jumper, draws the contact. Admiral 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Second-year man from UTEP checks in. It was a strange place. Ryder not learning the lesson that West just learned. And the loose ball foul on Tellis Frank. Minnesota just relentless in challenging the Admiral. It's worked once for the 7 or 8 times they've dared him inside.
Ryder hit.
Frank's second foul, putting Robinson on the stripe where he is. Dare we say it? Perfect. 7 for 7 now. Last week for David, because you're in a cave somewhere, the 4th quadruple double in NBA history.
I think it's those new sneakers he's got.
At least they're not red. Like Scottie Pippen. Teams available for those and all other home games in the Alamo Dome. 39 for Robinson. 51 seconds to go in the period. And the newest member of the Timberwolves, Corey Williams, checks in. Just picked up today. Michael Williams' roster spot filled for 1 game by Stanley Jackson to open up a 14-point lead. The Admiral unstoppable with 40 points today. 80-66. Back after this from Diamond Shamrock. And there's the guy that shook him awake. Kobe, how much better can he get?
Well, I don't know. This guy. He's just such an intelligent player. He's with another dunk. I think he's well aware that Lucas put him in the game.
Wingate out on the break, intercepted off Johnson by Ellis, ahead to David.
Once more, Avery Johnson in the passing lane, anticipates the pass. Larry Johnson put right in the middle of the lane.
Long pass, David Robinson. Right place, right time.
Great look by Avery Johnson, who Left-hander to left-hander, length of the court.
Gill with the quick shot. Ellis the board. Johnson has Robinson up ahead, and the alley-oop for the jam, and a career-high 44 for David Robinson. He did it in style.
What a sprint end-to-end. He just beat everybody down the court.
But the ovation for the Admiral continued all the way through that Charlotte possession. Credited now with 7 blocks, 14 rebounds, and a career-high 44 points. Antoine Carr is fouled out of the game. And he's going to be replaced by Larry Smith. What a night by that man. Mercy.
I don't think he's coming out, Dave. He looked over. Here's a replay of the dunk on the run. He was pointing at Avery Johnson. It was just a matter of when. And
full of guys who can score. I mean, Doug West and Isaiah Ryder and even Chris Smith, who was a great scorer in college. If you let this team hang around, then anything can happen late. So they're going to try and put this team away as early as they can.
Del Negro guarded by Smith, second-round pick last year out of Connecticut. Robinson barely drawing iron, but right there for the follow. And it's 2-0. Do you think that he felt the need to flex his muscles and show beyond the shadow of a doubt he's in control, as Robinson is, of the alley-oop by Del Negro?
Great pass from Del Negro.
Dale Ellis. Shot clock under 10 for Del Negro. Quick double team by Frank. Robinson with some room to drive on Longley. And the usual result. 10 for the Admiral. They're back within 1. Minnesota with a timeout. 6:33 in the first quarter. The Admiral lighting it up in player of the week form in this first quarter. And Spurs basketball continues after this message from Southwest Airlines. Kobe, in honor of the Winter Olympics, a new judging system on our dunk meter today.
Well, we've got several dunks here all lined up. Robinson just going to the basket around Luke Longley at will. Here's a nice lob pass. Perfect position for Vinny Del Negro. Dave, all he has to do is just get there. And once more by Luke Longley. 25.3 we have as a combined score.
The Nordic combined, of course, you throw out the high, the low, you get the 3 average scores, and that's not bad. I think 25.3 probably the highest dunk meter score of the year. We understand that solidly places David in middle. We've never had less discussion on who should be the Diamond Shamrock Spur of the moment. David Robinson in the first quarter, 18 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 slams.
Off wide open.
Maybe Dale's fortune's about to turn. Robinson went for the steal, runs the floor, gets the jam. The whole package right there.
Pretty obvious play as David was reading what they were trying to do, and Chris Smith trying to get the ball to Ryder, and David Robinson read the pass and picked it off like a defensive safety in football and went the other way.
I mean, you're watching a future Hall of Famer, a potential MVP at the very top of his game, night in, night out.
All of his decisions are so good. He recognizes the gamble of coming off of Luke Longley, which is not much of a gamble. He picks off the pass and then just beats Longley down the court.
First point for Vinny Del Negro.
I mean, Dave is well aware of who's going to hurt him on the court. He guards everybody, and so he'll guard Ryder a little close quickly on Ryder, and he'll come off on different
guys. Jump shot. Long pass, and Robinson will get his revenge. .38 points, half the Spurs total. Man, oh man. There's another quarter to go. Off to Floyd, just saved it in bounds. Robinson, another slam. 42 points. By 16.
Well, here's another look at these 2 points that David ends up with. Sleepy Floyd right along the baseline. Good camera angle there. But here's David finishing around Luke Longley.
Mr. Robinson's neighborhood, a happy neighborhood today as we look at the play of the game brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers who reminds you know when to say when.
Well, just mechanical execution of the offense on the part of the Timberwolves. David Robinson reads it, gets in the passing lane, kicks it ahead to Willie, back to Dave for the dunk.
2 of his 45 points 1 below his season high, 7 below his career high. Pass on his opportunity to break that mark.
Well, I was there when Ice had 52.
And the there's another one. Oh, and John Lucas steps up and dances on the scorer's table.
And Willie Anderson waving to him from the court. A set play from out of bounds. Willie with a perfect pass.
Win by 114 to 89, keyed by 50 points from the Admiral, who has, appropriately enough, our dunk of the game brought to you by Whataburger.
Well, David Robinson did this dunk against everybody in the league his first year. Tellis Frank apparently didn't get his turn. Willie with a perfect pass right to the basket. That was a set play from out of bounds. Lucas went completely crazy after that dunk.
And then right after that, he hit the 3 for 50. So the Spurs now with both the best record and the best percentage in the NBA and in the Western Conference. 52, one off the Hemisphere Arena record. As the Spurs will call time to get him out of the game, and yet another well-deserved standing ovation. A Hall of Fame night by David Robinson.
33 in the second half.
Winning streak over San Antonio come to a halt on a memorable night for David Robinson.
Congratulations to David Robinson.
And a little help from his friend, because he was looking for his shot all night.
Yeah, I think he was. And it's, you know, I don't think Alonzo Mourning's ever had that happen to him in his entire life, and may not ever again. That was an amazing, amazing performance by David Robinson.
36 seconds, his day is done. And even the Minnesota fans who are still here giving David Robinson a partial standing ovation.
They didn't get to see their guy Leitner, but they got to see one of the best ever Rodman put on the show.
Lucky 13 for the San Antonio Spurs. By a final count of 114 to 89, the winning streak is at 13 and counting, headed to Salt Lake City. More from the Target Center in a moment.
David Robinson is maybe the most gifted physically defensive player ever, but I think he's one of the most intelligent defensive players ever. So in a mechanical set like that, he's able to read it, and he's everywhere he needed to be all night long.
In addition to the 50 points, 9 boards, 6 blocks for the Admiral. Again, our final. The Spurs defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves 114 to 89.